And rolling.
And now it's time for another edition of What Would Jello Do? I'm coming to you today tormented yet again that the one thing that takes precedence over unending tiresome Super Bowl hype is unending tiresome Ronald Reagan hype. 100 years since the demon was born and all that. And the reason they have to have all this spin year after year after year about what a great president Ronald Reagan was is to make sure the fog is still in everyone's brain and they don't wake up and realize he was one of the worst presidents in history. It bugs me no end that almost every one of the worst presidents in American history I know much about was president in my lifetime. Nixon, Reagan, the first Bush, the son of a Bush, and Clinton was a big disappointment too, and we may have another one very soon in the issue of competence and all that. People forget that before Reagan there weren't homeless people all over the streets, all over the United States, and people were not so easily bought, and there wasn't this attitude quite so bad that all taxes are automatically bad and community doesn't matter, only dog-eat-dog marketplace and only for the wealthier and wealthier few. I could go on, but think about this. Ever since he left office, periodically, some of those far-right extremists we all love, like Grover Norquist, and back when he was in Congress, Vin Weber and Representative Di Vanderjagt, I think, proposed putting Reagan on Mount Rushmore. And one of them even said, yeah, there's some area with some pine trees on top that they could even use for his hair. And they were serious. And then I thought, what a great idea. Hire Halliburton, who of course will steal most of the money, to build the Reagan face on Mount Rushmore. Of course they'll do it as badly as they did some of the stuff in the Gulf of Mexico for oil wells, for BP. All of Mount Rushmore collapses and they have to give it back to the First Nation Native American peoples. Yeah. And another scary thing about Reagan was that was the first time the extreme corporate right was able to get a talking head into office, an actor no less, who pretended he was the president, and everybody thought he was the president. Reagan knew damn well he wasn't the president. But, well, the gangsters behind him looted, then wrecked the world. And no, he didn't bring down the Soviet Empire. They did it themselves, the same way we're doing it today. Then we have George W. Bush, who was so dumb he actually thought he was president. People who are teleprompter savants. Of course, the next one is Sarah Palin. However, she ain't gonna be nominated in 2012, but watch out later on. They're just marinating her right now. People didn't take Reagan seriously for president when he ran in 1968 or 1976, but he kept coming back, and that's what worries me. So what we have to do is, for once, side with the gun nuts and take it one step further. Arm the animals. Yeah, think of that, a pitched battle between deer and hunters, but more to the point, next time Sarah Palin is out machine gunning wolves from an airplane, what if the wolves were armed and fired back?